I am my own friend. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Overwatch All-Star Brawl 4 presented by Star eSports. As always, we are a tournament dedicated to the Overwatch Tier 3 community. My name is Shy Guy, and I will be your color caster for the evening. Joining me in just a moment is my partner in crime, Sir Waltham, as we dive into an excellent matchup here tonight between Reckless and Scion eSports in the lower bracket of this tournament. Waltham, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing well. Allergies are certainly giving me something to work against, but I'm here ready to push forward just like these two teams are. I'm sure everybody's got their issues going into this match. So I'm really excited to see how they come, who comes out on top as we, continue to move through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are really kind of getting into the thick of things in this tournament right now. It's getting down to the nitty gritty. And tonight, we will be sending two teams packing. Two teams will be bowing out of the All-Star Brawl. We'll figure out, one of those a little bit later. But first up, it's going to be between Reckless and Scion. The loser will go home here tonight. They both find themselves in the lower bracket after kind of hard fought runs through the tournament so far. They both played two matches up to this point, 1-1, and trying to continue their runs with a victory here tonight.
Yeah, it's certainly been very, very close as of Scion getting knocked down into the losers bracket. If memory serves, they went 2-3 against Team 2, a very dominant looking team so far. So I definitely am not counting them out of this fight just yet. They just got into the losers bracket. Reckless, a little bit more comfortable down here. They went 3-1 against Project Caribbeans, I believe it was.
Yes.
So as well, they definitely have some name recognition to be coming out on top. They're definitely not going to roll over. And neither of these teams are going to be looking to roll over as we head on to Busan here in just a minute.
Yeah, I mean, you talked a little bit about name recognition there, and at least for me, Scion comes into this with a little bit more in that category, just in terms of how often that I have personally gotten to see them play. This will be my first chance to get a look at Reckless, so I'm excited to see what they're bringing to the table. But on the side of Scion, this is a team I think our viewers are probably very familiar with. They've been in and around these tournaments. They've really been kind of a competitor, and I am a little bit surprised to see them down in the lower bracket at this point. And I think they definitely have a real opportunity to make a real jump through the next few rounds of this tournament. I think they're definitely a contender to kind of fight their way back and potentially even fight their way back into the upper bracket if they can go on a real hot streak here.
Yeah, both of these teams are in the unfortunate position of being in the losers bracket rather early, so they don't have what the professionals call a lot of wiggle room. They're going to have to really be keeping themselves in line if they want to be making it to that finals losers bracket and then eventually to the finals in the winners bracket. So there is, like you said, a strong possibility that they can make it all the way back into the main bracket, but it's going to be a very long road for either of these teams.
Yep, and it all starts here tonight. It's got to come kind of step by step for either of these teams. So it's not one of those things where you can start kind of looking ahead and forecasting, thinking about future matches. You've got to be very present in the moment in this situation, because the consequences, if you're not, are dire. I mean, it's mistakes can be deadly at this point in the tournament. So I'm really excited to see these two teams go at it with a lot on the line here tonight, with a lot of incentive to be at their best. And I think we're gonna have a really good match on our hands.
I certainly agree. And speaking of the match, it looks like we are just waiting for a few more people to get nestled in, get readied up, waiting for production to kind of sure up things on their end as well. So while I have a moment, folks, do want to remind you guys to vote for that MVP as usual. Your MVP votes mean a lot to us. They mean a lot to the players as well. If you guys vote for the MVP, we get to nominate one and bring them into the casters booth to have a quick word with them at the very end. So if you're excited for that, make sure you're dropping those votes in the bottom right, I believe. As well, all the social media endorsements are appreciated. Discord, Twitch, Twitter, whatever your preference is. We love seeing you guys around.
Absolutely. And I'm very pumped for this series, and I'm excited to get to see Scion once again, because we casted them earlier in this tournament in the first round. We missed their game last week against Team 2, but they really impressed me with their team play just on a whole, and there are some individuals on this team that I am really going to be keeping my eye on here tonight. PMA Jellies has been just a phenomenal main support, especially when he's been playing that Batiste. I think he's definitely been one of the best Batiste players that we have in this tournament. So I am definitely watching for him. And then Sai always brings the heat on those projectile DPS characters.
Yeah, I definitely think a good potential for some players to watch out there for. Shy Guy, since we have a little bit of time here, we know that our first map is looking to be Busan. What do you expect kind of moving forward for these maps, or for this map?
I definitely expect to be seeing a lot of Mei here on Busan, especially when we get there into Mecha base. I mentioned Sai. He's going to be on Mei quite a bit throughout this series. Even after the patch that we got last week, Mei is still incredibly strong in the current meta, almost essential in a lot of cases, just for the amount of utility that character brings to the field is really kind of unmatched in terms of the DPS roster. And so I definitely expect that to be in play for both teams here tonight. But Reckless, this will be my first chance to get to see them, so I'm not sure if they're going to be sticking necessarily to kind of the meta at the moment, or if perhaps they have their own style that they'll be bringing to the table.
And when you say that one word, that magical word, meta, of course it kind of opens up the Pandora's box of Shy Guy. I believe this is our first game casted on this new patch. So we are going to be seeing kind of this new thought process develop between how players are going to be reacting with some Mei nerfs, with the Baptiste nerfs, with the Diva buffs. That's something I'm hoping to see come to full bloom here. Although we certainly might not. We are going to be starting on Sanctuary, however.
Yeah, this is a little bit more open. So I think of the 3 points here on Busan, this is the one that I guess offers like the most opportunity for teams to go off script a little bit, if you will. Like it opens the door for some different things. I still don't expect to see a lot of changes in terms of the tank line. Orisa Sigma going to be dominating the field of play here tonight, but there's definitely opportunity for things like perhaps what we're seeing out of Reckless, at least at the start with the Orisa Wrecking Ball. It's a duo that works especially well on these control maps, and especially well on an open map like Sanctuary.
Yeah, I'm more so than the Wrecking Ball. I'm very curious to see if they're going to be running that double sniper opportunity, Renzoku and Crimson on the Widow Hanzo. It looks like they are going to be hopping out of spawn with it, so we're definitely going to be seeing if that folds in their favor. As you mentioned before, we can see Maple trying to get up there in the action rather quickly. We'll have to be careful as Sai still going to be on that mate, ready to freeze. They're posting up to the side of Scion, ready to get the swing in. Not quite finding too much. The fight going to be taking place on point. Sai taking down Kurt. That is a very early opening for the side of Scion. Looks like the Discord going to be going on to Niche as well, making sure that they can take a little bit of extra damage. The pressure onto those tanks can be crucial, and the sniper's not able to find it. Cohesion, however, finding dozens of kills. Not quite literally, however. The point is going to be flipping over to Scion to start.
Yeah, I mean, losing Kurt was just a death sentence for Reckless in that first fight. With your Batiste out of it, there's no real way for Toast to keep up on the healing front, to keep the tanks alive in that fight. Andy goes down, they have to give up the point, so they'll reset, try to come back in here. They've given up on the double snipers, though.
Yeah, Renzoku going to be switching on to that Mei. Crimson now getting the first kill. This means that Scion's going to be man down. Crimson continuing to find that value. This Hanzo certainly seems to be working a lot better than perhaps the Widowmaker was. Then with that being said, the point going to be flipping over, and it looks like Reckless are going to be only losing one member this fight.
Yeah, they'll be incredibly happy with being able to come in, get the retake incredibly quickly. They don't have to use any ultimates to do it. They even bait out the amplification matrix from PMA Jellies. So a perfect second fight there for Reckless as they answer back.
Yeah, and now we're going to be seeing Maple have those mines on hand, ready to go in behind. Might try to drop them. Yeah, they're going to drop them right in on the drum room. Not quite able to find too much value. In fact, Maple going to be dropping for their ult usage there. Dragon's going to be coming out from the side of Cohesion. Doesn't seem to connect with anything either. But with that being said, number advantage is in terms of Scion. We're going to be seeing the nano boost go out. It looks like Niche is going to be the receiver of it, and with that, it looks like Scion going to be able to get some cleanup. Renzoku going to be getting the only kill, and that is until Maple pile drives right onto the point, getting a double off the back of Baptiste and Hanzo, but it's not going to be enough.
No, I mean, he's able to get back into the fight after dying early, but you know, right now we're seeing that Ana pick from Supreme really coming to the forefront. The Bionades have been huge in both of these fights that Scion has won so far. If he can continue to find those, they're going to be in good spirits.
Yeah, Kurt Lebert not quite in such good spirits as they drop early to an anti-nade. No window up for the side of Reckless, and they need to be very careful here. They're losing members back and forth. Cohesion just continues to find these shots on this Hanzo. He must have heard you talking about Sai and did not want to be overshadowed here, Shy Guy.
Definitely not. And, you know, I mean, he is going to be kind of the primary damage dealer for this team. He's the one who can get aggressive and kind of single-handedly make these plays. And so far, it's working out beautifully for the side of Scion. They're now in a bit of an awkward spot, all caught up in this drum room with the Dragons coming their way.
Yeah, Maple going to be getting a little too far ahead of the rest of their team. Going to be trying to hop on the point, focus down because of it. Cohesion brought dangerously low, but looks like they may be able to receive just a little bit of healing from the rest of their team. Something really needs to happen from the side of Reckless right now. The Immortality Field going to be coming out, as well as the Transcendence, the Blizzard in response from Renzoku, and then from Sai. So Blizzard's all over the place. It is raining cats and dogs, I suppose. And the kill's going to be mostly going in favor of Scion. It doesn't look like many members are left standing for Reckless. No kills coming through on their end, in fact. And with that, overtime's going to tick down.
I love that Blizzard placement from Sai there as Reckless are trying to push in off the back of their own Blizzard. They thought that they had Gummy kind of isolated. They thought they were going to be able to secure that kill pretty easily, but instead they just walk straight into their deaths. And you know, so far so good for Scion.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to be feeling pretty content about that. You can't really fault them for that. Overall, I think that Cohesion was playing very good Hanzo in this situation. I mean, we saw his name pop up on the kill feed more often than not, in at least twice, I think, in every team fight he was, you know, popping up there. Now we're going to be taking it, however, to downtown. Shy Guy, what do you anticipate here?
No, I definitely anticipate things kind of opening up a little bit. This is a place where Sai really likes to go over to that Pharah, so the aerial, you know, control is going to be big for Scion in this fight, especially when you look at the other side. Crimson going to be matching that in this case, so that's going to be, I think, the crucial matchup here.
Yeah, Maple once again rocking that Wrecking Ball, trying to perhaps find more value for it this time. There is not going to be a May to slow them down. Already lined up behind the side of Scion. Going for that pile driver, going to be only finding one or two. Immediately CC'd with a rock, CC'd with a halt. A lot of focus fire put onto that Wrecking Ball. Not quite able to deal too much damage, though, as we look at the Pharahs continuing to fly in the sky. Maple will be taking down Cohesion. That is a big boon for the side of Reckless. They're going to be really needing that. The res having to come out from Jellies rather early on. Toe's going to be taken down, meaning that they will not be able to use that res. The Bile Driver once again on the Cohesion. Maple knows who they need to target now, and it seems to be getting some value. However, Sai taking down Crimson is also going to be an incredible amount of value, this time just for the other side of the field. And Sai now looking to put a little bit of weight on their shoulders as they go and throw some rockets into the ground. And with that, we're going to see Scion take first point.
Reckless is trying to go all in on this kind of hyper harassment composition. You got the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball able to get into the backlines, be very sneaky and difficult to deal with. Cohesion now actually going to match that. Doesn't like his chances on the Hanzo. He's getting dived too much, so he's just going to pick up something a little bit more mobile here.
Yeah, absolutely. Renzoku on that Tracer gets brought down very early into this fight. Going to be trying to find something. Renzoku actually going to be making the swap onto McCree, so we're going to be seeing that McCree walk onto the field, and Kurt getting dropped right as their Immortality Field was opening, maybe caught outside of the line of sight of it. And with that, it looks like the Reckless has finally made the decision to just back off.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be the smartest call in this case, especially now as they're able to get the pick on the side. They force out the res in this case, so not really going to be much damage done to Scion. As now the tank's pushing forward aggressively.
Yeah, and Kurt Lebert once again getting brought down. Seems like they have dropped a handful of times so far. And Sai continuing to just have this dominance while their team rolls in on ground forces. So impressive here coming in from Scion.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of realize how you have to play when these farm mercies are on the field. The Batiste is going to be pretty vulnerable. He doesn't have a lot of self-healing. He's only got that immortality field to kind of survive, and with the nurse that received, that is definitely a harder task than it used to be.
Yeah, Maple trying to just peel back perhaps a few members of Scion by going on the point, getting some point progress. Toast going to be able to res Andy because of that kind of point peel. And with that, the window coming up from Lebert, and Kurt gonna be finding 1 kill off of Gummy with that window. And right now, things are looking the best for Reckless that they have yet. Although the Valkyrie coming from PMA Jelly's really putting the pressure on the Renzoku. Then PMA Jelly's gonna be resing Sai. It looks like the points actually flipped around a little bit here in terms of kill favor. And a big anti-nade onto Andy. Maple getting slept. Things are not looking good for the side of Reckless. They need to get members back on this point. Just does not seem like it's gonna happen. Andy dropping. It's just gonna be the ball on point who gets quickly cleaned up by Cohesion. Then the Farah coming in to try to make something happen. Crimson falling equally as quickly. And with that, just a little bit of point control needs to happen. Gummy going off the map, it seems, with that Farah, or with that Diva, rather. Overtime's going to tick down, and 2-0. It looks like it's going to go in favor of Scion.
That was very convincing from Scion here on Busan. They have come out swinging here tonight. And they look to have a really solid idea of how they want to approach this matchup. They have been making Maple's life so incredibly difficult. He hasn't been able to effectively harass them whatsoever, constantly getting CC'd, the halts, the freezes, the accretions, all just shutting him down so far.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly have to think that Wrecking Ball is going to have a little bit more of a tough time in with as much Mei as we've seen, even if she's not as strong as she was. I think teams still might be a little bit hesitant to kind of hop off of that pick, able to lock that ball down. And even if you don't have the Mei, Orisa, sometimes a McCree, those are all very good at keeping that ball from moving wherever he wants to move once he hits that pile drive.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous game to be playing as Wrecking Ball because, you know, so far Maple has really just kind of been playing it where he kind of goes in for a single slam or some harassment in the backline, but everyone on Scion just like collapsing on top of him immediately, and the rest of his team hasn't quite been there in terms of like making the push happen as he is also doing his thing in the backline. So they got to get a little bit more on the same page if they want to be able to draw some of the attention or at least capitalize on all the resources that Scion are using to deal with the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, and I mean, even when the Wrecking Ball did find some value in some of those fights, it didn't prevent, I believe it was Jellies, from being on that Mercy and getting the res because it was just a Wrecking Ball. He doesn't want to stay in one location just to shoot a Mercy who's rezzing a body. And, you know, they were conveniently stationed behind an Orisa shield. The Scion was, so the Mercy wasn't in much of a threat of the rest of Reckless. It's really hard to capitalize on that if you're not playing that Wrecking Ball to basically 110%.
Yeah, it's a really difficult thing to do right now. I mean, the Wrecking Ball certainly has value, but you have to be really on point in terms of both your individual play from whichever one of your tanks is actually picking up that hero, and just in terms of the rest of the team being ready to follow up on the openings that you make, because you're sacrificing a lot when you give up the Sigma. Especially you are sacrificing a lot of damage, a lot of like shield pressure, and another shield of your own. So you really have to be, you know, making that work, and it's a difficult task at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly no harder task, but Reckless has a little bit of an opportunity to recover here as we go through our map pick and ban phase. It's going to be on Scion eSports choosing to ban Watchpoint Gibraltar. Not going to be seeing that map. However, Reckless determines to have an escort map go in their favor. We're going to be seeing Rialto come up onto the field, so we will certainly be going there next. Shy Guy, do you think we can see more Pharah coming out of Rialto? We've seen it occasionally when Rialto does come on.
I was just gonna say it's definitely a possibility, and I believe my memory could be failing me here, but I think I've seen Sai play the Pharah on Rialto and play it quite effectively. It's definitely a possibility, and both teams so far showing that they are more than willing to pick up that hero. So I wouldn't be surprised one bit if we got a little bit more, dogfighting going on above the canals here.
Yeah, certainly love to see it. I love the aerial style battles. For those of you at home, just a heads up, Scion now going to be on the left in blue, Reckless on the right in red. That's 3 R's for you folks. And with that, we're about ready to hop into Rialto. We have about 35 seconds here, Shy Guy, before the rosters come online. Give me some early picks besides the Pharah.
I don't think we're going to see really any changes in terms of the tank line. I expect Reckless to probably go back to kind of the traditional Orisa Sigma tank line here. The Wrecking Ball 1 wasn't working quite as well as they probably hoped on Busan, and I think it's going to have an even harder time here on Rialto. You don't have nearly as much space to work with. You don't have kind of the easy, exit points to get out of fights quickly. So I would hope and kind of anticipate them trying to perhaps just even go into the mirror match here and stop trying to kind of reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see that coming online. We're seeing the clocks tick down. Don't want to comment too much about the attack. I've been fooled before by the attacking team, but cohesion on this Widowmaker for defense, I like it. I'm always a fan. Do you think they're putting the Widowmaker in just for the threat of Pharah?
I would imagine that's probably the case. Realistically, if the Pharah is not in play, the Hanzo is going to be a better pick, pretty much 100% of the time. I think you've just got so much better kind of shield break and presence in kind of a fight that doesn't happen at long range, that I do think that's a much better option. But with the possibility of the Pharah cohesion going to be back over to the hit scan role that I think he might be a little bit more comfortable with. I mean, Sai is the projectile player, so I'm not surprised to see this, but might suffer a little bit with no Pharah on the opposite side.
Yeah, certainly perhaps not going to be finding that value. Sai and Cohesion both looking to lock down that Wrecking Ball coming in from the side angle. And Orisa Halt trying to come in from the defense. Doesn't quite find as much as they might like. And right now, Scion not getting too aggressive over that first forward bridge area where the Orisa poles like to just get so many environmental kills. But an Orisa Halt going to be going in. Sai closing in on it, the back of Andy. Getting pulled in, going to be focusing that main tank down. Renzoku going to be evening things out as both Orisas going to be down. However, PMA Jelly is getting the res as well as the quick respawn from the side of Andy. Might be leading these Orisas to be back in the fight much sooner. However, Cohesion taking down by Maple will certainly be much left to be desired from that Widowmaker. Sai continuing to be in the sky, however, just backing off, playing a little bit more of a slow game. However, building up that Rocket Barrage already online. And with this, it looks like, despite having a very long fight, Reckless just taking their time through this choke. Rocket Barrage coming inside, getting 2, getting 3. Renzoku finally going to end the Rocket Queen's life, but with that, a few ults being invested in this fight here, Shy Guy.
Oh, and P. Jelly goes for the late res there, so the cart going to get quite a bit of movement here. I mean, it's going to come down to a fight here at the tail end of point A, as just the 2 DPS for Reckless pushing forward. They had a nice play to isolate the tanks of Scion, but now Crimson in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Cohesion actually going to get locked down by a Halt Toast there to finish them up with some Zenyatta left clicks, maybe some right clicks, but then the return right halts on from Niche. Toast getting cleaned up with that, and right now things are going very back and forth. Nobody really focusing on Cart right now, but those dragons are certainly going to be enabling them to do so. Dragons cleaning up Gummy, and with that, it's just going to be a Tracer trying to stall out on point. Has to be very careful to play around the 1 or 2 mines that are still there. Just going to take a punch to the face and a bullet to the gut from Kurt.
All right, things off to an excellent start here for Reckless. Now they're trying to push forward a little bit, potentially chase down some kills. The slam has put Supreme in an awkward spot, but he'll be able to escape nicely and reset before this next fight.
Yeah, will
Does
not
have to use that immortality field though. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, probably going to be a costly use there if this fight goes on within the next 15 seconds. However, we're seeing right now Gummy take this high ground, and immediately it seems like Maple seems kind of sniffed them out, or at least was aware of where they were at, got a pile driver right onto them, forced a few members off that high ground. Also, Renzoku kind of contesting for that high ground as well. The supercharger going to be coming out from Andy, immediately taken down by Sai. Crimson then going for the Blizzard. That also gets taken down by Gummy's kinetic grasp as well. This team of Scion seems to be playing so well around these ultimates right now. Maple getting to be brought dangerously low, however, will receive the healing from a health pack. Cohesion taking down the Zenyatta. That is lack of damage amplification coming in. The tanks trying to fight around Cart, however, not seeming to find it. Andy and Maple going to be dropping, and now we're seeing Cohesion lean a little, or Scion lean a little bit forward on the front foot, and with that, the cleanup comes in.
Yeah, that was just so beautifully played by Scion, as you said, kind of responding to everything that Reckless did just perfectly. And you know, now they get to settle in on this defense. They get to set up on the high ground with it in their control. Cohesion taking pot shots from long range is gonna find pay dirt.
Yeah, and Maple right now really trying to be a pest, but it doesn't seem like Niche is going to be showing too much display from it. Toast taking down Sai. Looks like they were locked down by a halt. And with this, the halt into the grab from, or into the dragons from Cohesion, going to be taking down Crimson. However, the Baptiste able to walk away with their lives, at least for a moment, before Cohesion just gets him with a standard arrow.
PMA Jelly has lost his Pharah tether in the middle of that fight, had to float over towards Reckless's spawn, takes the duel with Renzoku, and comes out on top as Scion continue this defense. They are playing so aggressive right now, and it's working out beautifully.
Yeah, Scion taking a really forward defensive position right now, and it seems like Andy can't even place his shield to get moved further up. Crimson going to be dropping that Maywall, but with the supercharger coming out from Niche, it's questionable about how much value that Maywall's going to get. Maple will be taking them down with a minefield and then taking down Niche. That is no main tank for the side of Scion. But Sai coming in to clean up with a triple kill off the Rocket Barrage, a quad kill off the Rocket Barrage. It's just going to be Maple and Renzoku here. Renzoku probably going to be running for their lives, or at least coming out of respawn.
Absolutely. And Scion, they continue to hold this forward position, and it's so difficult to deal with. Crossing this bridge as Reckless is so dangerous. There's so much open ground to cover. Look at this sneaky position from Niche. He's ready with the halt.
Yeah, oh, Gummy gonna be taking it down Renzoku with a rock and then some standard good old-fashioned left-click capabilities. Supreme taking down the Immortality Field. These Immortality Fields cannot stay on the field for that long from this game. Sai getting the boop onto Toast is just a fun little way to kill the Zenyatta, as the team is gonna inevitably be resetting.
Oh my god, now they're just taking this to the extreme. We thought they were being aggressive before. Now they're holding pretty much at the spawn right now. A beautiful flank coming in there from Gummy and Cohesion, just completely decimated Reckless in that last fight, and now they're gonna keep it up.
Yeah, and this is actually maybe a little less risky. The solo grab flux on to Maple. That's going to be taking them down, switching off the Wrecking Ball. Not going to be building up much ult charge. Supreme going to be taken down, but the fight is so far forward, they will be able to walk back within a reasonable time. However, Sai making sure that the walk back might not be entirely necessary as the fight continues to go in their favor. PMA Jelly's picking up Supreme. This fight still going so well for Scion.
Yeah, they are not relenting at all. Cohesion now in a little bit of an awkward spot, but they don't necessarily seem to realize that he is directly underneath them. He's gonna pop up right in their faces.
Yeah, he's gonna suffer for that perhaps poor pop-up. Sai, however, just gonna funnel Rocket Barrage down a hallway. And with that, it looks like nobody's able to come out, but there's a Wrecking Ball on point. It looks like Maple finally getting the courage to switch back onto the Wrecking Ball after a life or two. Renzoku firing those dragons out, not seeing necessarily where they are. They're gonna be taking a long trip down onto the cart. Niche pulling down Toast. That was crucial. They lost their Transcendence on the offensive side. The offense getting a couple kills in now that Toast has dropped, or despite Toast dropping rather. And they do have a few ults to work with here. Not as many from the side of Scion. They need to be very careful. PMA Jelly's almost losing it, and that Immortality Field from Supreme might be costly as well.
Yeah, but Scion's going to be able to back off here and just give up some ground. They're going to be able to wait out this supercharger. Potentially Cohesion will fall, but they found Maple in the meantime.
Yeah, Maple being an absolute distraction right now, and that Coalescence, or Transcendence rather, going to be coming in, keeping everybody alive. Cohesion gets brought up in the back line, and Sai dropping another Rocket Barrage, going to be getting two, enough to clean up the cart, enough to get the overtime timer to tick down, and with that, Scion going to be having a decent defense.
No, they're gonna be so happy with that. You don't see a whole lot of teams getting the stop on point B, and you pretty much never see teams do it in the way that Scion just did. Just the spawn door hold essentially coming out here on Rialto. That's a new one. They were holding the high ground over the point A checkpoint, and I truly don't think I've ever seen anyone do that.
Yeah, that was there was a battle on, you know, parts of the map that some players don't even know exist, and when you get to that point, you know it's getting scrappy, it's getting desperate from the offense. But now the offense kind of has the opportunity to show Scion what they're made of on defense. So they're certainly not out. It's just gonna be a feat here, Shy Guy.
Yeah, they're going to need to really pull together for this one. It's going to be really difficult, and they really seem kind of insistent on running Maple as the wrecking ball. This is the strategy that they have brought to bear, and they are not really going away from it. I'm a little bit surprised to see that here on Rialto. He had his moments, but so far I don't see how this is the answer to what Scion has been, you know, doing so far. They've just been so prepared to deal with Maple that I would be making the swap, but you know, I'm just a lowly caster. What do I know?
Yeah, I mean, us casters, we never know what's actually going on in the game. We're just taking our best guesses here. And, you know, now we're going to be seeing Sai on this Pharah. I look forward to it. Renzoku perhaps on the McCree to, you know, negate that, to counter that, force the Pharah into some uncomfortable positions, or ideally out of the sky or into the ground. Crimson going to be on the Mei as well, not quite setting up any Mei walls, however, and it's going to be the Sigma and Cohesion going around the back. Gummy really doing some great provisions for their Widowmaker. Cohesion absolutely protected by that tank player, able to get the kill onto the McCree, and the Immortality Field coming out will be taken down by Sai, and Cohesion now able to use these angles that they were bought by their main tank player, and Maple in an uncomfortable position, taken down by Sai, who's just been ripping and tearing through this team with these rockets.
Okay, I want to give some props there to Niche through that fight, because his Far Mercy was up in the sky. 3 of his other teammates were flanking around the back, and somehow he was still withstanding. He was still staying alive through all the pressure that Reckless was sending at him, and you know, an excellent main tank play coming out so far for Scion.
Yeah, certainly looking to see it here. The Immortality Field going to be going out onto Andy, and Andy alone as they try to just make something happen. Crimson taking down Sai, who uses that rocket barrage, perhaps a little bit early considering the Immortality Field was still up, and that was a very risky res that Supreme went for on Sai, but it's going to pay off as they do manage to bring that Pharah up. The Deadeye going out, going to be taking down Sai almost as quickly, though. Niche taken down, and now we can hear the blasters from Supreme finding nothing as they get put into the ground themselves.
A good recontest coming through there for Reckless, and now some swaps coming through for Scion as they go back over to kind of the more standard composition here. Sai back on that Mei, Cohesion picking up the Hanzo here. They've kind of realized, you know, they can just go all out on kind of the ground game, on like the shield break here especially, and they should have the advantage in that sense, but this long flank gonna be very difficult for Reckless to deal with.
Yeah, it absolutely will. So many angles that that Scion seem to be comfortable attacking from, and already they're 2 up in this fight. They're Crimson going to be dropping those dragons, not seeming to find too much, however. Going to be taking down Cohesion with some standard left click fire, then following it up with PMA jellies, but they have to get on cart, and a solo Onzo on cart does not seem to be able to do it as the point gets turned over.
No, and you know, Reckless kind of completely sacrifices the high ground there, or at least Scion just kind of, I guess, takes it by force with that you know, unconventional pathing there. It really works wonders for them, and now they're continuing this push, you know, so impressively. Cohesion looking for the duel, gonna back off a little bit to the safety of his team.
Yeah, it looks like those Hanzos kind of going neck for neck on each other, but weren't quite able to find anything either way. Renzoku getting pushed off that little bridge by PMA Jellies, who does end up suffering by a couple body shots from Kurt Levert, end up dropping them to their death. Gummy taking down Maple, though, however, is a little bit of an evening of the scales. The Immortality Field coming out early from Supreme will be taken down, followed by a quick cleanup. Kills really going back and forth right now. The sound barrier even coming out from Jellies does manage to catch the 5 remaining living members of their team. Niche getting the cleanup onto Andy, and with this, the car's going to continue making a lot of progress.
That is absolutely brutal. It was a decent start there for Reckless, but the gravitic flux, it forces out the transcendence, and Maple still dies to it. That is a massively impactful ult coming out from Gummy, and now they're very nearly at the finish line.
Yeah, and early kills onto Renzoku and Toast does not spell well for this operation. We're going to be seeing Andy drop a supercharger very early into this, as well as the force from the dragon. Both dragon side taking down Kurt. In that blizzard means that no immortality field will be available. Maple having to get locked down by that Mei just to contest the cart as long as possible. Also going to be dropping those minefields, but the window comes up from Supreme, who gets ready to just lock down on anybody getting near cart. The Mei wall going to be blocking off Renzoku, and with that, we're going to be seeing the point go over to Scion eSports for the win here on Rialto.
I am so impressed with the way Scion are playing this right now, and especially their understanding of the different angles and how you take fights in this meta. They are constantly sending Gummy and Cohesion off on flanks to really find a lot of value, to find off angles where they can get around shields, and they're really punishing the fact that Reckless isn't running a Sigma of their own. They don't have a second shield to deal with all of these different angles, and it's really hurting them right now.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Maple stays on this Wrecking Ball, it may be their best character, it may be the best equipped composition for this team, but they're always going to be struggling with those multi-angle attacks, which it just seems like Scion kind of had as at least a secondary option for attack. And I mean, you said it, they're just taking absolute capitalization upon Reckless.
Yeah, and you can, especially when they're running the Pharah as well from side, that's just another thing that you have to deal with. It's someone who can get over the top of the Orisa shield, and it kind of renders that one shield that they have a little bit useless. I mean, not entirely by any means. Orisa's still always going to have value in the current meta, but they are just doing everything they can to really get around that and circumvent the kind of defenses of Reckless so far, and it's been working wonders.
Yeah, and as we look forward into the future, it looks like the ban going to be coming out from Scion will be onto Volskaya. So I'm not going to be seeing that particular assault map come out. And instead, we're going to be seeing a different assault map. It looks like Anubis. Reckless just seems to pick whatever map type Scion happens to ban here tonight.
Yeah, and they keep picking maps where Sai can play the Pharah, and I don't know, what the thought process for Reckless is. I can't read their minds. I don't know, exactly why they're picking these maps. Probably just because those are the ones they feel most comfortable on. But I'd be a little bit worried if I were them. They keep kind of opening the door for Scion to do exactly what they want. The one good thing I would say here about Anubis is, especially once you get on to point B, it becomes a little more difficult for those off angles to be played effectively by Gummy and Cohesion. You don't have easy avenues to kind of flank and get around the edges, or at least it takes a while to be able to do those things. So in that sense, this could be a pretty good pick here for Reckless.
Yeah, if anything, I'm excited for the hopes of seeing Cohesion on that Widowmaker for the first point in defense, see if they're able to perhaps apply any pressure. For those of you who may not have caught it, we did see a substitution coming in. It looks like we saw Maple get pulled out. I believe it's going to be Andy coming in, if my memory is serving me correct. Shy Guy.
It looks like actually they are going to be making a couple of different swaps here, if my eyes don't deceive me. We've also got Pascal coming in as well for the off tank role to finally kind of bring that Sigma into play there. They're not going to have Gummy they're not going to have Maple on the field anymore, so they're really switching things up, and I don't mind that at all here from Reckless. As so far they haven't really found the recipe for success, so maybe a change in the tank line is just what they were looking for.
Yeah, my mistake. It was Pascal brought in for Maple, and we'll have to certainly see if this Sigma tactic is going to be breeding them a little bit more effectiveness. And it looks like Cohesion still getting a little bit confident from their last win on Rialto. Going to be taking this fight onto the ground with this Hanzo, trying to put some damage in, but it will mostly be eaten by Pascal on that Sigma kinetic grasp. The Orisa Shield getting brought up and immediately focused down. The Immort Field is going to be coming out rather early from the side of Reckless. The Maywall coming back online in coordination with the Immortality Field may not be the most optimal, but they're certainly seeming to make it work. Another halt coming in, but no coordination with the Sigma from the defense right now. Gummy doesn't really seem to be wanting to capitalize on those halts with an Accretion Rock right now. And right now, we're just seeing some real slow play from Reckless, maybe waiting to build up that window. And as the window goes, it still seems like no kills are coming through, but the rotation does come through from Scion to drop off of this main strip. Oh, and Niche gets stuck off a Maywall, barely slips away using their Fortify to neatly get away with their life. Crimson taking down the Immortality Field from PMA Jellies. Such a long fight with so little kills happening, but as soon as I say that, Toast going to be taking down Cohesion. Pascal dropping from side. Overall kills going left and right, or at least starting to warm up as we can hope. And again, it seems like this is a continual trade game for the side of both of these teams. And the wall onto Gummy, a very uncomfortable spot for that tank player. And right now it looks like the offense team going to have the advantage here. They do have a little bit quicker of a respawn. They aren't looking to rotate onto point 2 immediately. Both these mates trying to play around each other's side, not quite able to get the kill onto Crimson, as Cohesion going to be taking that offer. Supreme then following up onto the other DPS, and with this, it does not look good for the offensive team Scion, or the offensive team Reckless, excuse me, as Scion especially pops that Transcendence to keep everybody alive here. Oh my goodness,
no.
Shy Guys.
And now they're just stuck in this quarter. They gotta die. They even, you know, they do at the very least, they force quite a few ultimates out from Scion. The Supercharger committed, as well as that Transcendence. So there's going to be a real opportunity for Reckless to push back in here. They'll be approaching kind of 5 ultimates as this fight really gets going. So they definitely have the advantage when that is concerned. But so far, they have just been a little bit off. They're getting really nice walls to isolate members, but haven't been able to capitalize.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity to capitalize, though. Niche and Sai both going to be have the option. Abakami equalizing the field with Toast and Renzuko both getting brought down. That is crucial here. And right now, Scion, we're looking a little bit lacking. But as we see Pascal try to make this rotation, uses a grab flux, perhaps trying to get something onto the supports. The Immortality Field going to go on to Jellies, or coming out from Jellies, but Jellies gets taken down. Now with Kurt dropping both the Baptistes are going to be off the field. The Dragon's trying to come out from the defense, and it finally looks like the offense is going to make some headway here. Niche going onto the point, perhaps just to buy a little bit of time off the clock, but just going to feed ult charge instead.
It was a valiant effort from Scion to try and keep that fight going, and they do their best in that situation, but the relentless kind of respawns coming from Reckless are just going to be too overwhelming in the end. They do finally, you know, they get a point on the board here on Anubis, and now they'll be pushing into point B as Cohesion making the swap over the Doomfist now that we're into a little bit of a you know, more close quarters area.
Yeah, Renzoku going to be aware of that, as the Sonar Arrow did kind of catch Cohesion up on the top balcony. The Doomfist coming in, not necessarily getting blown out by those nerfs that happened. Toast, in fact, going to be the one getting blown out, as Cohesion deals a little bit of left click damage. And now the uncomfortable spot for the side of Reckless to be caught in this narrow hallway. Gummy taking down the Immortality Field, leaves a feeding frenzy for the rest of Scion eSports.
Yeah, you can tell as soon as Scion kind of gets that first pick, they are just, you know, licking their lips. They are ready to go and, you know, clean up the rest of that fight. And now that is massive for Scion. It allows them to stabilize. It allows them to build up some ult economy, because they spent pretty much everything trying to hang on to point A.
Yeah, and Cohesion going to be taking an early drop here. However, with the Maywall coming in from side, they certainly might not mind. It will give them enough time to get respawned and back to point. Cohesion already going to be walking out of spawn here in just a moment. Meanwhile, for the attack, it looks like Reckless going to be trying to saddle up on this right side. They certainly see, with the help of a Sonar Arrow from Renzoku, where that Doomfist is posted up for the time being. They have a lot of ultimates online here. Pascal eating this ultimate out of side this time around. Going to be getting some good value with that Sigma. And now Cohesion getting taken down. The Hanzo Arrow is going to be coming out And again, we're seeing the full ult investments come out from both sides here. Pascal going to be dropping the grab flux. The defense seems to be suffering a little bit here. They're taking their losses. Indefinite Niche going to be trying to fortify, trying to just shield dance right now. And it's going to be PMA Jellies trying to hold on. Cohesion doing some massive pullback with some kills coming out. PMA Jellies then cleaning up, and with a wish and a prayer, Scion eSports able to pull it back from what was looking like a fairly lost fight.
Yeah, I thought Reckless really had it there. It was an excellent individual play. The intelligence from Pascal to gobble up that Blizzard really set up the rest of the fight, but they just couldn't quite close it out as Cohesion really dashes their hopes in this instance, and now they'll just have to reset. They lose pretty much every ultimate they had, and things are gonna get difficult here, but they're now going into a very interesting defensive comp.
60 seconds remaining. You're covered.
Not sure.
And it looks like the kills are gonna be coming in from the side of Scion, despite a few good early kills from the end of Reckless, and overall not going to be enough here. They're going to have to regroup and get back in 30 seconds.
Yeah, they're going to have one more attempt at this, but this is now looking a little bit dire for them. They will be pushing in with quite a few ultimates at their disposal. The Blizzard, probably the big one, kind of lock up some of these hyper-mobile heroes on the side of Scion. They get the mech, they get Cohesion. This is a good start.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it looks like Kurt Lebert and the side of PMA Jellies are going to be opting to use those windows. However, PMA Jellies getting brought down before too long. Crin's going to be dropping the ult, this time able to find the value with it. Sai getting hit with the nano boost, however, gets frozen in the Blizzard. That is a crucial loss for the defense. However, a crucial get for the defense on these 3 kills coming in from across the board. And Cohesion taking down the Supercharger. Just going to be Andy posted up in this corner trying to hold out. The halt coming in. Pascal going to be able to find it. However, not able to find much else as the timer ticks down. No progress made for Reckless.
Oh, good God. That is a rough round there for Reckless, as now they are on the verge of elimination. They do at least get 2 ticks here on point B, so not all is lost in this situation. They still have an opportunity. The point B, very difficult to crack here on Anubis, so if they can come up with a solid defense of their own, we could see this series extended into 4 maps. But Scion really come into play here tonight.
Yeah, they really are. They're looking to perhaps make this a 3-map victory on their end. They got knocked into the losers bracket, and they are certainly hungry to keep moving on through it. So definitely will not be looking to see them come out of this gate half-cocked, I think.
No, and I'm gonna be curious what the defensive look is here for Reckless. It looks like now that we no longer have Maple in the fold, it's just going to be kind of the standard looks here with the Arista Sigma, the Mei Hanzo. They are just trying to go with the traditional defense, and we'll see if they can make this work. I gotta say they looked not too bad there on the attack. At times they were going toe-to-toe with Scion, but I think they were really just kind of undone by those point B spawn advantages, and we'll see if they can turn that in their favor this time around.
Yeah, if true, a very interesting support comp coming out from Scion. They're not going to be having a main healer. They're not that high burst damage healing. Just going to be Supreme and Jellies on the Zenyatta, as well as the Lucio in that order. Looks like they're going for a little bit of a Widow dive here. Something very mobile with that Widow to kind of apply solid pressure. Niche taking down Toast very early on. No res to come in. And Crimson not quite able to lock down that Wrecking Ball either. However, Renzoku does even up with Cohesion on the kill. And now that Mei getting onto point, going to be locking down that Wrecking Ball. No shielding to really stop that Mei freeze from coming in. The Mei wall coming out to prevent any of the attackers from getting onto point, but Crimson then falls themselves. And just like that, it looks like first point's already going to be falling to the side of Scion.
Yeah, they just kind of swarm, and I love this approach really for point A especially, because as long as you can dive in and find a couple of picks, then the spawn advantages are gonna start kind of building up in your favor. Your characters are so much quicker; they'll get back to point so much faster than the defensive heroes. So it gets them point A, and now they've got 6 minutes to work with, so they can try a few pushes with this comp even on point B, and still have a lot of time in the bank.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we're not seeing the Ana run with size Genji, meaning we're not going to be seeing the Nano Blade come online, but we will be seeing the standard Genji Dragon Blade coming on. Pascal, however, going to be getting a first few kills. Renzoku taking a kill as well. And the damage not really seeming to come through for the offense from Scion here, despite Cohesion trying to apply those Widow shots. It's just pressure. This team not really being given the opportunity here. And Niche, despite having that Transcendence popped, gonna still be dropping Supreme, also just accepting their fate as they come out of that Transcendence.
Okay, so Supreme better be swapping here, and I think the rest of the team probably in the same situation. If he sticks with the Zenyatta, I really have to question that Transcendence. That was ill-advised to say the least, but they're going to give it one more go here, at least with the Dragon Blade, with the self-destruct ready to go. But we'll see if they can kind of crack through here. They're having a hard time getting the damage in so far.
Yeah, and the pile driver into the Diva Bomb. That was so massive coming from both Gummy and Niche. The Blizzard from the May going to be trying to keep everybody alive. Renzoku taking advantage of what is effectively a shooting gallery. However, will be dashed upon by Psy. The first tick already being given over to Scion. Psy still has that Dragon Blade. Might not even need to pop it here. The Coalescence coming out, going to be focused down by Toast, who's able to build that up so quickly. Crimson now hopping onto the Doomfist. It looks like Scion's not going to be able to get the full 2 points that they need.
Yeah, they'll get a single tick out of it, which is fine, and now I really do want the swaps to come in here for them, but it might not be happening. They set up just a magnificent set play there. The pile driver from Niche knocks them all up in the air. PMA Jelly's following up with a boop of his own to set up that self-destructed. Now they're ready to go with the blade.
Yeah, and once again, Kurt Lebert falling very early into this fight. Sai gonna be pulling out that blade, tearing up Renzoku. Crimson very low, gonna be cleaned up by PMA Jellies as well. And not a lot of damage being put onto Scion, and because of that, it's looking like this point's gonna go in their favor. Just a little bit of stall coming out from Kurt. With that, the point's gonna flip over, and we're gonna see Scion end up taking it 3-0.
All right, who said dive is dead? They make it work here on Anubis, and I'm really impressed with their ability to just kind of find individual targets and dive. Oh, we get to take another look at this. The setup is just picture perfect from Scion. It gets them the first point, and then all they have to do is get the cleanup from there as they close out an impressive sweep here tonight.
Yeah, overall some very solid plays. I liked seeing what we were seeing come out from the side of Scion. I think Reckless may have taken a little too long to switch off of that Wrecking Ball. I think it certainly did cost them in the first few maps, and it's just hard to regain that momentum, especially when Scion has so much confidence from that Rialto win.
No, for sure. It really was kind of a thing where once the ball, kind of pardon my pun, got rolling downhill, it was hard for Reckless to do anything to stop it at that point. And they put up a decent fight at times here, but Scion really proving why I think they are a serious contender still in this tournament, even though they find themselves in the lower bracket. They are scary moving forward, and anyone who is in their path, I think, has to be worried.
Yeah, I'm certain that they have given their teams, or their opponents rather, something to kind of keep eyes out for. Be looking for their names on the horizon. You don't want to be sleeping on this team just because they're in the losers bracket. But well, we do have a few moments here. We are tallying up the final votes from the MVP vote. So if you haven't gotten it in yet, you might want to throw it in there at the very last moment. But Shy Guy, who stood out to you as some of the most impressive plays coming out?
This is honestly really difficult. I really liked what Gummy was doing tonight on that Sigma. I thought he was more than making kind of the big individual plays, he was setting up his team for so much success. He was really responsible in a lot of cases for kind of taxing around cohesion, setting him up for flanks, and that to me is what really kind of put the nail in the coffin for Reckless here tonight, and really made life difficult for them. So that's where I would be leaning. But so many good options. Both teams had their standout players, so I'm excited to see who we get to talk to.
Yeah, looking at chat, it seems like it's pretty decisive, but we are still going to be taking the last few moments to just figure things out, get those counts in and locked on. But overall, I'd be very happy with having a number of the players we had coming in from both sides as well. I think that even though Reckless, they had very few opportunities to shine, there's still some stuff I think that they can walk away with, improve themselves as players. You don't get better without taking a few losses. I don't.
No, for sure. I mean, and running up against a team as talented as Scion, there's no shame whatsoever in coming out on the worst end here tonight. And unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the road here for Reckless. As their time in the All-Star Brawl has come to a close. An entertaining run for them for sure. They really brought a unique style to the table, and I would have liked to see a little bit more of them throughout the tournament, but it's been very good to have them. And without further ado, it looks like it's time for us to transition into that post-match interview. We're joined now by the Viewer's Choice MVP, Crimson. How are you doing after that one, my man?
Definitely could have been better, but we gave it our all, and it was really just, we're just here to have fun and see what we need to work on. It was a good competition. Felt good though.
Yeah,
even if it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
You said trying to find what you need to work on. So what are kind of the takeaways after the series here tonight? What are those things that you guys are going to be looking to improve in the future?
At least from my perspective, and I don't know, just something we've been talking about as a team for a while. It's really just our stacking and target priority. That's just something we've kind of just felt off on, and it felt like it really just kind of bit us in the butt here.
Yeah, it did seem like that kind of I don't want to say focus in like a general sense, but specific focus on that, those couple of topics really did kind of hamper you guys. There were a couple fights where it seemed like they took quite a long time. I want to talk about kind of the last couple of days or weeks, if you want to look at it. We've seen these few, some would, in some aspects small, in some aspects very big changes come out for the heroes with these new patch notes. Do you guys feel that has affected your team very much, or your play style? Has it, been advantageous or disadvantageous for your play styles at all?
I feel like with the new changes, it really like the only ones that were super changed enough to like completely, I guess, take them out. It felt like Doom, really, even though that one guy was doing pretty good on it. But I feel like the changes weren't like enough to really break meta, or even enough to be like super noticed. So no, not really. I don't think it's like broken our game. I think we just had bad series here. It's just we just need to take what we can from it, learn off it, and improve.
Yeah, me and Shy Guy were talking a little bit about that. How if nothing else, you get to pick up a few I guess lessons. You don't get better without taking a few L's.
No, exactly. No one can be perfect.
Yeah,
that's what this is all about. It's about improving and having fun, and that's what we did. We came here, we had fun. We know what we need to work on, and if you guys see us again, we'll be back stronger.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I love the positivity coming out of this. I do want to ask you. To me, it seemed like Scion, they really had the answers in terms of how to deal with the wrecking ball comps specifically. They seemed really prepared for that. So what was it that they did to really kind of shut your approach down? in this
Oh,
series.
oh shoot, my man. I think that's more of a question for Maple, because I was correct. But
Fair enough.
I don't know. I mean, I still felt like Maple was getting a lot of value off what he could do, even with them shutting it down. I don't know. It's just we've just been like kind of forcing that count because we've had a lot of good results with it, but I guess we just weren't really prepared for them shutting it down. I personally, for me though, for what I saw, like I didn't really see how they shut down Maple, like, so I can't really give you a clear answer on that.
Fair enough.
Now, finally, as is the reason you're here, you are the MVP. Although your team's not going to be continuing here in this tournament, do you guys have any future plans or, events you guys might be looking towards or looking forward to?
Right now, currently, no, none that we've talked about. Primarily, we're just focused on our open division and improving for that, like I assume every other team is.
Yeah.
But
Well-
yeah, right now, no plans. This was just just something we were doing to see kind of how we're feeling like on the side of open division, against some of these other teams, and just how we feel as a team overall. And I say we felt all right. We just like I said, just have some things to work on, and I feel like they could make our game. It's just we weren't on top of our shit, to be honest. I think it's the easiest way to sum it up. Sorry for the swear word.
It happens, but Shy Guy, do you have any more?
No, I mean, I think we'll just give you, Crimson, an opportunity to, say some words to your fans, shout outs to anyone kind of behind the scenes, or, plug anything and everything that you've got. This is your time.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks, guys, for letting me be the People's Choice MVP. I don't even know how and why I'm here. I don't even know 40 people, so let's go. And, I'll plug my Twitter, Pascal_. That's about it. And thanks, Jackson. I love you. That's about it.
Well, once again, thank you, Crimson, for popping in here, answering a few of our questions, and just, I think, having a good time. I'm having a good time.
Oh, of course. That's what it's all about.
All
We
right.
can't be Debbie Downers over a little L.
Well, hopefully, Crimson, we get to see you guys in the future in another one of our tournaments. But for now, it's goodbye and farewell. And once again, thank you for popping in with us.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, with that said, Shy Guy, it is our time here to sign off. My least favorite part of these broadcasts. Would you like to go ahead and start the honors of plugging ourselves?
Yeah, I can be found on Twitter at ShyGuyOW. Follow me for hot takes, writing on Overwatch League, all kinds of good stuff happening over there, and just want to say thanks to everyone who tuned in tonight.
And likewise, I have been Sir Waltham. You can catch me on Twitch or Twitter. I have cold takes because they're just opinions I've kept in the refrigerator for like the last 5 years. So nothing really popping up there, but definitely catch me on Twitch at Sir Waltham. From all of us here at the Star Esports team, thank you guys for tuning in. We have another game happening in about an hour, so be sure and catch that. Hope to see you there. If not, have a great night and stay safe, everybody.